What do you do when someone calls you useless? I never thought I'd hear those words, especially not from the woman my son loves. But that day, standing in my own kitchen, she looked straight into my eyes and said, "You're just a burden now." I didn't answer her. I just smiled. Because one day, she would know what real strength looks like. My name is Margaret Ellis. I'm 64 years old, a retired teacher who spent 40 years shaping young minds. I used to think I was respected, even loved. But life has a way of showing you who truly stands with you and who just stands near you. After my husband, Robert, passed away 2 years ago, the house felt unbearably empty. My son, Daniel, insisted I move in with him and his wife, Claire. He said, "Mom, you shouldn't be alone. It'll be good for all of us." I believed him. I packed my memories, my husband's old books, and the scent of a life I was leaving behind. The first few weeks were fine. Claire smiled politely, Daniel made tea, and I thought, maybe this could work. But slowly, things began to shift. Claire started sighing whenever I entered a room. She'd rearrange the kitchen after I cooked. Once, I made pancakes for breakfast, and she said with a smirk, "Oh, my mom uses almond milk, you know. Healthier for the kids." It stung, but I stayed quiet. Then came the whispering. One evening, I passed their bedroom door and heard Claire say, "Your mother needs to stop acting like she runs the house." Daniel's reply broke me. He said, "She's old, honey. Just ignore her." Old. Just ignore her. As if I was background noise in their perfect little life. My role in the house started shrinking. From cooking 3 meals a day, I was politely asked to rest more. From watching TV with them, I was told, "We're watching something you wouldn't like." From being part of the family, I became a shadow in the corner. One day, Claire came home holding a new phone. "Daniel," she said loudly, "I set a new Wi-Fi password. We don't want everyone using it." Everyone. That meant me. I smiled faintly and said, "Oh, don't worry, dear, I don't use it much." But that night, alone in my room, I cried. Because I did use it, not for games or gossip, but to read stories, to feel connected to a world that was slowly forgetting I existed. It was a Sunday morning. Claire's parents were visiting, and the house smelled like fresh coffee and expensive perfume. I wore my best blue sweater, the one Robert always said made my eyes look bright. When I entered the dining room, Claire frowned. "Oh, Margaret, you didn't have to dress up. It's just family." Her mother giggled. "Still trying to impress at this age, huh?" Everyone laughed. Everyone. Except Daniel. He looked away. I quietly turned around and went back to my room. That's when I heard it, Claire's voice, sharp as glass. "She's like a burden we can't get rid of. She doesn't do anything, just takes up space." Those words sliced deeper than any knife. I sat on my bed, numb. For the first time in my life, I felt useless. That night, I didn't sleep. Instead, I stared at the ceiling and whispered to my husband's photo. "Robert, if you were here, you'd tell me what to do. You'd remind me that I still have worth." Suddenly, my old phone buzzed. It was a message from an ex-student, Jenna. She wrote, "Mrs. Ellis, you were the best teacher I ever had. Do you still tutor? My daughter needs help with writing." I froze. Maybe this was something. So, the next morning, I sent a reply. "Yes, dear. I'd love to help." And that was the beginning, the quiet spark that would reignite my life. I started tutoring Jenna's daughter online, quietly, from my room, using mobile data because I still didn't have the Wi-Fi password. At first, it was just 1 student, then 2. Within a month, word spread. Mothers began messaging me, "Are you Mrs. Ellis? My son struggles with reading, can you help?" I charged a small amount, but to me, it wasn't about money. It was about purpose. It was about remembering who I was. One evening, Claire knocked on my door. "Margaret, what's that noise? Are you talking to someone?" I smiled. "Oh, just helping a few children online." Her lips tightened. "You don't need to work. We take care of you." I wanted to laugh. Take care of me, the woman who labeled food in the fridge. But I just nodded. "Of course, dear." Months passed. My online lessons grew. One parent suggested I record small videos explaining grammar tips. I hesitated at first, but agreed. I recorded them with my phone camera, sitting by the window, my voice calm and warm. "If no one's told you today, you're doing your best, keep going." The videos went viral. Hundreds of comments appeared. I wish you were my teacher. Your voice feels like home. You remind me of my grandma, thank you. I started earning enough to pay my own bills, even saved up for a new laptop. But I kept it all private. It wasn't time yet. One morning, I overheard Claire on the phone. She said, "Daniel, she's been acting strange lately. Maybe she's losing it. She's always locked in her room." I smiled to myself. Oh, Claire, if only you knew. That evening, she barged into my room without knocking. "Margaret, why is there a ring light and camera here? Are you making YouTube videos?" Her tone was dripping with mockery. "Yes," I said quietly. "I teach online." She laughed. "You teaching online? That's adorable." She walked out shaking her head. But 3 days later, something changed. Claire came home early, holding her phone. Her face was pale. "Margaret," she whispered, "someone just sent me this video. It's you." She showed me my own video, the one where I said, "It's never too late to start again. Age is just experience with wisdom." It had over 2 million views. Claire blinked. "That's you?" I smiled softly. "Yes, dear. That's me." That night, Daniel came into my room, eyes wide. "Mom, your channel has sponsors now. People are writing articles about you." I chuckled. I suppose I'm not as useless as someone once said. Within months, I became known as Mrs. Ellis, the internet's grandma. I had over 500,000 followers. I earned enough to move out, not in anger, but in peace. When I told Daniel, he looked embarrassed. "Mom, we never meant to make you feel unwanted." I smiled gently. "I know, son. But sometimes, being pushed away is just life's way of showing you can fly." Claire stood in the doorway, silent, eyes glistening. She whispered, "I'm sorry, Margaret." I nodded. "I forgive you, but remembered words can bruise deeper than hands. Be kind to the next woman you meet." As I packed my suitcase, I found that same blue sweater from the day she mocked me. I folded it neatly and smiled. It wasn't sadness this time, it was freedom. Outside, the evening sun painted the sky gold. I took one last look at the house and whispered, "Tell me, when did I become a burden? Maybe I never was one. Maybe I was just a seed waiting to bloom again." And as I walked away, my phone buzzed another message from a young girl online. "Mrs. Ellis, thank you for believing in me." I smiled. Because now, I believed in myself too. They tried to make her feel small, but she became a voice for thousands. Never underestimate a woman who has nothing left to lose because she shows you what real strength looks like.